Here's my center of operations, my desk. Go ahead and poke around. If you want to know the particulars of how I do what I do, take a look at the book titled How to Be a Detective. It's real helpful, especially if you're new to the mystery-solving business. And be sure to check out my scrapbook. I put memorabilia from all my past cases in there. A lot of them were pretty dangerous, and at times really scary. But don't say anything about that to my dad, okay? He worries about me enough as it is. And whatever you do, read what's in the file called Case File. That will tell you all about the mystery I'm about to try to solve. If you think you're ready to dive into that mystery, just click on the plane ticket and you'll be on your way.
Hey there, Nancy Drew Clue crew. I'm Maura, and welcome to another video walkthrough of the Nancy Drew game series. Today I'm playing Legend of the Crystal Skull, the 17th game in this series. Before I begin playing, there's just a couple of things I want to mention about it. You'll notice at the beginning, instead of having Nancy walking upstairs and introducing herself like the last couple of games did, it just begins with her saying, "Here's my center of operations, my desk," after the title card. You'll notice that it and its immediate predecessor, White Wolf of Icicle Creek, doesn't begin with the main signature theme music, but it does play over the end credits. And this is the second and last game, like its predecessor, to have character text in this font style and size. Starting with Phantom of Venice, it's going to change again. This is also the first case in which Nancy will read the case aloud when you pick up the case file, and she says what her current assignment is. So let's do that.
Current assignment. What assignment? Bess and I are flying to New Orleans for a long weekend of fabulous music, sightseeing, and food. Okay, so I'm also going to visit Ned's friend, Henry Bolet, but only as a favor to Ned. Apparently, Henry's uncle just died, and he had to go down there for a couple of weeks. Ned says Henry's a nice guy, but kind of a loner who might appreciate a little company. So, the first thing I'll do is leave Bess at our hotel in the French Quarter and take a cab out to the mansion where Henry's staying. Ned called him and said I'd be coming. But once that's done, it'll be lazy les bon temps brûlés. The only bad news is the weather.
That means let the good times roll in French.
But what's a little stormy weather when you're in the heart of the Big Easy, right? Right.
She sounded a little uneasy on that last right. So I'm going to click on the plane ticket, and as I do, I also want to point out this is the first game, which continues for the rest of the series, in which you get multiple awards with a total of 12. So while games 8 to 16 feature the chance to get a single award based on what you do or how much you do it, you have a chance to get multiple awards from here on out, as I said, with a total of 12, and that's what these stars represent on the junior and senior detective badges. When you get an award and it shows during the end credits, the stars will be green or blue, indicating how many awards you've got. So if you get, say, 6 on Junior Detective, you'll have 6 green stars. The rest will be colorless. So let's get started, and of course I'm going to pick Junior Detective. Yeah, it does help to play in a dark room, but I'm not going to this time. So here is Nancy arriving at the Bolet mansion and now walking up to it. And unlike Curse of Blackmore Manor, in which Nancy would automatically knock on the door after walking up to it, I have to do it. And once Nancy does, it's unlocked. And there.
Hello? Anybody here?
Wet, muddy footprints. Wonder who's here.
Hi, the door was open.
Is he dressed as a skeleton? What, was that a red ascot?
Ah!
Holy smokes. Now that's up close and personal. Oh my, speaking of holy smokes, he tossed a smoke bomb at her. Okay, now Nancy's conscious again.
What is it?
Something that'll make you feel better. Drink it. Just a couple sips.
Okay, I don't really want to, but I'll have Nancy say okay just to show you what happens.
Okay.
That's it.
No offense, but yuck.
I showed her to think what's in it.
Any of your weirdo concoctions. Then I really will have to take her to the emergency room.
You just go back to your phone call and leave us be. Don't pay him any mind.
Where am I?
You're at Henry Bolet's house, dear, in the library. He and I carried you in here after I found you unconscious in the foyer.
Why is it so dark in here?
The electricity went out. Lightning must have struck a transformer somewhere. What happened? Can you remember?
Well, the front door was open, so I walked in, and then I saw I saw a skeleton. And then he saw me. And then the light started flickering, and he threw something at me that exploded. The smoke must have made me pass out.
You saw a skeleton?
I'm sure it was just someone, wearing a costume or something. I'm Nancy Drew, by the way. I came to see Henry.
So we surmised. I'm Renee Lamont. I'm Bruno Bolet's housekeeper. That is, I was. This skeleton that attacked you, perhaps we should call the police.
No emergency room, no police. Things are complicated enough as it is.
Henry's feeling a mite overwhelmed. Well, you are looking much better, so I'm going to get back to my plant potting. You need anything? I'll be outside in the garden.
I should call them and keep them on hold for 5 hours and see how they like it.
Okay, so that's Henry talking. Okay, now I can finally get up from my spine, and there are the icons for the inventory, journal, task list, and a new one for the cell phone. So let's get up and look around. Huh, that looks like an iguana on the books there. So this will be part of a puzzle. Their teeth, because Bruno was a dentist. So I want to talk to Henry now, of course, that's why Nancy's here. Before I do, I want to get something here.
I just found a glass eye. Did Bruno Bolet wear one?
Yep, wore a glass eye for as long as I can remember. Had a whole collection of them. Like to wear a different color.
Oh, that's interesting. I can't exit out of here until he's done talking. Okay, now let's talk to Henry.
So, Nancy, nice to meet you. Ned sent you here to check up on me, huh?
Do you mind?
Not really. Ned's a nice guy. I mean, I really don't know him that well, just from school. But when I mentioned that my only living relative just died, he was all like, yeah? How you feeling, man? You doing okay? Want to talk? Of course, I guess I do come across as a little needy sometimes.
Were you very close to your uncle?
Great uncle Bruno, and no, I wasn't. My parents died in a car crash when I was 8. Since I had no other relatives, he took me in, or should I say he shipped me out. Boarding school, summer camp, military school, college. He may have looked after me, but he never spent any time with me. I didn't know him at all.
Yet you came all the way down here for the funeral?
Not really. Great Uncle Bruno named me executor of his estate, which means I have to make sure all his bills are paid and debts taken care of so his assets can be distributed. Unfortunately, he couldn't have cared less about little things like keeping records or balancing checkbooks. Dealing with his creditors and their lawyers has been an absolute nightmare. So, thanks for stopping by, Nancy. And now you can report back to Ned that I'm fine and go enjoy New Orleans.
I sure can, but I'm not going to. Not until I know who that skeleton man was and what he was doing here and why he knocked me out like that. Look, I can understand you're not wanting to call the police, but somebody should investigate. And since playing detective is kind of a hobby with me.
No offense, but are you sure you didn't just pass out from the heat and humidity or something and dream that you saw the skeleton dude?
I'm positive.
Okay, look around all you want. But I should probably warn you, Uncle Bruno was into exotic pets. Didn't believe in cages, so he gave him the run of the place. And just because he's dead doesn't mean they are. So if you're gonna go poking around, be careful.
Yeah, I am going to come across some of his pets. So let's start first by looking in the Great Hall where the skeleton man was standing and staying over this miniature cemetery. That's the sound effect of turning on the ham radio in Secret of the Scarlet Hand. Let's see what else there is to click on here. There's a part of the main music from Secrets Can Kill, but I think it plays a couple other tunes. Ah, there's another part of the main music. Let me see. I think it plays one other piece of... Well... It does, I think, play one other type of music. One that's not from that game. Music from that game. Gator. Okay, if you're wondering why there's a miniature cemetery, yes, because there was one outside next door to Bruno's mansion, and this is a puzzle. Notice each of the designs here are different. Oh, I've often overlooked that little surprise. There's one other place on here to look. Right here, because we got another glass eye. Before I forget, there's a puzzle right here that allows us to get another glass eye. And if you do it quickly, you'll get an award at the end. So I want to try to do that. So you have to move these in place to get the lasers out of the way to get the eye. I'd recommend using the direction keys rather than clicking on the direction keys with the mouse to make it faster. Alright, so I did that pretty fast and I got the eye, so hopefully I'll get the award at the end. Now let's finish looking around this spot. And these are records where everyone is buried in the cemetery, and there are several different memorials, as you can read on there. Oh, one painting is missing. Hey, this looks like one of those little spots on the miniature crypt that has a design like this. Maybe Skeleton Man dropped it. Wonder who tried to burn this, or mostly succeeded. Before I forget, I want to call cab. Come see if we can get a cab.
Due to current weather
And service is suspended, so I have to stay here.
Has been temporarily suspended. We regret being unable to serve you at this time.
Alright, so since I can't go anywhere right now, I'm gonna just try to solve this mystery. And let's tell Henry that we can't leave yet.
Yes?
Is your great-uncle's estate worth very much?
I have no idea. Nor will I until I get all his affairs settled. He was a dentist for most of his life, so he must have had some money squirreled away. As you can tell, he was darn good at squirreling away junk.
He never got married?
No way. I can't imagine anyone putting up with him for a day, let alone for a lifetime.
I'm afraid you're going to be stuck with me for a while.
Let me guess. Because of the big storm that's blowing in. Everyone in the city's freaking out, and you can't get a cab.
You're one heck of a guesser.
Person at the bank told me. Just before she put me on hold for 2 hours. Don't worry. We've got plenty of food here. Beds, candles. You're welcome to stay.
Why is there an empty frame in the gallery in the other room?
Apparently someone stole the canvas. Renee says it disappeared sometime after Bruno died.
Was it valuable?
In a way. It was of my parents. I think it was painted in the garden out back. Renee doesn't like me. Wouldn't surprise me if she took it out of spite.
I found this scrap of paper in the fireplace. Do you know anything about it?
No. You always go digging around in people's fireplaces?
Just looking for something that might tell me who that skeleton man was.
Ah, anything else?
Why is there a model of a cemetery in the other room?
Because Great Uncle Bruno used to oversee the cemetery next door. Made that scale model so he could keep track of where everything, or should I say everyone, was. Crafted all those miniature crypts himself. And people think I'm weird.
Do you know what this is? I found it in the other room.
Looks to me like some kind of tracing.
I was thinking that maybe my skeleton man left it behind.
Well, I sure don't know anything about it. Anything else?
I'll stop bugging you now.
Groovy.
Groovy. Alright, now I'm gonna go talk to Renee. Then I'm gonna explore the gardens, the cemetery.
Nancy, welcome to my little lantern-lit corner of the world.
It's a little wet out here.
I don't mind. No one should mind the rain. Without it, the end of the world would come much too soon. Did you and Henry have a nice chat?
We talked.
Henry's a very morose, very negative young man.
Yes, I have already gotten the impression that he's a negative
I'm
man.
fairly certain that he's been selling off Dr. Bolay's belongings on the sly.
What kind of belongings?
Just little things, odds and ends really. But the lawyers made it very clear that no assets were to be liquidated until all of Dr. Bolay's affairs are settled. According to Dr. Bolay's will, Henry is to get 30% of the estate. Dr. Bolay's physician, Gilbert Buford, gets 30%. Our Lady of Route 57 School of Dentistry and Cosmetology gets 30%. And I am to receive 10%.
What was in that concoction you wanted me to drink after I got knocked out?
Never you mind. It was just a little remedy I brewed up on the spot to help you feel better.
If you don't like Henry that much, how come you're still here?
I'm here because Dr. Bolay paid me in advance, and I always fulfill my obligations.
Have you ever seen this before? I found it by that scale model of the cemetery that's inside the house.
It's a mystery to me. I suggest you ask Henry. He leaves things lying around all the time. I guess it figures I won't notice amid all
I
the
already
other
asked
clutter,
Henry.
But I do. I notice everything. How else may I be of service to you?
What can you tell me about the painting that's missing from the frame in the gallery?
Very little, I'm afraid. I didn't notice the picture was gone until after the reception following Dr. Bolay's funeral. I cannot even tell you what it was a picture of.
If you don't mind my asking, what's in that little pouch you wear around your neck?
Things. Secret things. Things that give me special talents.
Obviously,
special time to
some
manage.
things she doesn't want to tell
I
us.
usually laugh when I say this. But this pouch is my connection to the energy that powers the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Well, at least you didn't laugh.
I'd better get going.
One more thing. I, too, have seen the skeleton man. After Dr. Bolay passed that night, I saw him in the hallway. He was there, then he was gone. So you best be careful, Nancy Drew, because if it was Mr. Death, and I truly think it was, he's come back.
Alright, gonna look around. Huh, turning red here. Hey, there's a key. But if we try to get it, notice there's a spider there too. And it'll bite. If you try to reach it total of 3 times, Nancy will die because it's poisonous, because it'll bite each time. Notice here, strange, a bunch of fireflies flying in this one spot. Must be something here. Yes, there is. Look, I'll just push on these and then go outside and see if I can investigate further. Oh, before I do, here's Bruno's crypt. Right. Oh, so they made little steps, and I picked this up, a lightning rod, I think. Alright, now I'm gonna go to that big mausoleum that has the 4 designs like that miniature one in the scale model. Because that seemed to be where that tracing came from.
Should figure
Yep.
out if there's anything camouflaged in
But
that
we need some
design.
paper.
I'm gonna need some paper.
There are 4 of them here because they've got 4 different designs, just like on that miniature model. So there's no real other place to go and investigate for right now. But there is just one. There's this spot, though, that has a boat. But going to these memorials in the cemetery, this will be part of a puzzle later. Let's ask Renee if she has any paper I could use.
Hello again.
Whose boat is tied up down there where the bayou comes up to the cemetery? Do you know?
That would be my boat. Comes in very handy when I need to forage for certain swamp-dwelling plants.
Do you by any chance have some plain paper that I could use?
I most certainly do. But it's up in my room, and I'm afraid I cannot retrieve it for you until I'm finished here. You get the sudden urge to draw a picture?
Something like that. I know, I'll help you. That way you'll get done faster.
Gracious, you are the picture of impatience, aren't you? Well, I appreciate the offer. But here, why don't you just take this instead? It's an extra key to my room. The paper's in a drawer in my nightstand. Just go on up and help yourself. But make sure you lock the door when you leave, you hear? You I trust. But Henry, him I do not.
I really appreciate this.
As long as you're going up there, my appetite could use a little placating. So I would be much obliged if you would bring me a candy bar from my nightstand. And take one for yourself while you're at it.
Okay, let me get her key. Okay, I want to look around, of course. Here's a puzzle. Got to recreate the 4 symbols here, pressing certain buttons. So in order to open the chest, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Okay, that's 1. It's 2. 3. And 4. Huh. Hoodoo symbols. Well, it's interesting that I picked that up to look at it because that's what these are right here. Whoa, look at that flash of lightning. And they, according to the book, they spell out Bazalupadimuka. I don't think there exists a powder that causes you to hiccup in the real world, though. But that book of hoodoo symbols, is Renee a practitioner of hoodoo? Okay, the paper's right here, and the candy is right here. And look what they are.
One for Renee.
Cocoa Kringle bars. I think this is the first time we actually see it up close, and Nancy gets to eat one. The infamous chocolate bar that was first introduced in Secret of the Scarlet Hand and has been mentioned or seen in some form in almost every game since. And one for me.
Yum. Gosh, these things are good.
Oh, I sure would love to try one myself. Now, if you eat a bunch of chocolate, you can get an award. The total you get to earn that award is 6. So I'm going to have Nancy eat them all. But after 6, she gets sick and she won't eat anymore. So let me show you what happens then you eat them all. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it says Wickford on it, a reference to Ezra Wickford from Treasure in the Royal Tower.
Yeah. Oh.
Chocolate. Yes, I'm a chocolate lover.
Yeah. Oh.
Oh, here we go. Good grief.
Do I really want to eat another
No.
one of these?
No.
I don't think so.
Well, now that I've eaten those 6 bars, let me show you what creepy thing happens now here. The chair's rocking by itself. Why? Wait a minute, there's something in it now. Remember, I zoomed over it earlier because I wanted to show it was empty, but whoa, it's the Naughty Tina doll from Last Train to Blue Moon Canyon. That was creepy. Like I said it would be. Okay, now before I forget, I want to go into this room, and this is an empty room, so there's nothing to see here, but there's another glass eye to pick up, so I wanted to go get that. Now I'll take Renee her chocolate bar and get down to making those traces on the mausoleum.
You bring me that cocoa kringle bar like I asked?
Right here.
Bless you. I'm so hungry I could devour these
I love
plants
chocolate
I've
myself,
gotten up,
but
dirt and all.
I don't think I could
How else
eat.
may I be of service to you?
I don't think I could eat 6 bars in one sitting. 2 maybe, but that's it.
Those weird symbols on the wall in your room. Do you know who painted them?
I did. Fact of the matter is, there's a spirit living in
A spirit?
that wall.
A spirit.
Come on.
Got a voice that sends shivers down the spine of Dracula himself. Used to hear it sometimes in the dead of night, half talking, half whispering, saying this one word I never heard before, like it was from a language no one on earth spoke. And suddenly, I knew. The spirit was trying to cast a spell on me. So I got me a book and found out that by painting the word I heard on the wall, syllable by syllable, in hoodoo signs, I could counteract the word's
Oh,
power.
so she
And you know
spelled
what?
it out to repel the
spirit has
power
not
of it.
spoken that word or any other since.
What
Spirit.
was the word?
Tall and a sack full of water moccasins couldn't get me to say that word
Well,
out
she's
loud.
that
Nor would I
superstitious,
write it
then
down. No,
yes,
sir. Not
she
ever,
is
ever, ever.
a practitioner of hoodoo.
I'd better get going.
Come see me anytime.
Superstitious nonsense. Right now, let's go to the mausoleum. Okay, so each square has, with its design, a certain picture that I'll have to put in that little miniature mausoleum in the model of the cemetery. And I guess because this is locked, it'll give me the key. Is that why Skeleton Man had that tracing? He was trying to get the key to this crypt. Okay. Alright, now I'll go back to the miniature model and get that key. Before I forget, there's one more thing I can do in the garden right now. I can spray these wasps in order to get a low quad. That'll come in handy much later, but I want to do it now just to get out of the way.
That should keep you guys quiet for
And
a
if you
while.
can... You have to do this several times, because you can only get one low quad at a time. But if you smoke out the wasps quickly, then you'll get an award. So let's hope I could do that. Now back to the model. Okay, let's see the pictures. Gotta match them up. Okay, that's the worm. This is fine already, the coffin. Okay, that's crow. Oh. And, what is it? This one is bones. Alright. That's the key to the crypt. And Henry's not here. Wonder where he could be. There he is. Oh. He's crying. This must be his parents' crypt. Marianne, Claude Bollet both died in 1990. Yeah, that must be his parents. And this must be the missing painting of them. Huh, that's interesting. This is the same image of Dr. Predoviciu from that textbook in Danger on Deception Island. Recycled much? Alright, let's put the painting back. Henry ran away when I noticed him. I guess he was ashamed to be seen crying. But I guess he was crying because it was his parents' crypt and he remembers how much he misses them a lot. Feel bad for him. Alright, so that's put back. But at the moment I'm at a dead end because there's really nothing else I can do. So we are going to have to call Bess for some help. We need to see if we can look into that receipt from Zeke's. So let's do that and call her to do that. And forgive me, but I'm eating right now, so I apologize for the
Hi, it's me.
for the noises I make
I just got back from
doing
shopping,
so.
which I am happy to report is fantastic here. So, what's going on with you?
A lot.
A lot is in a whole bunch of fun stuff?
Let me start by telling you what happened when I arrived at Henry's house. I walked up to the front door and discovered it was open. So I walked in.
You're knocked out by a skeleton wearing a red ascot?
It's someone dressed as a skeleton wearing a red ascot. Although the housekeeper here thinks it really was a skeleton, Mr. Death. But then, she's a little strange.
You think it was a burglar?
I'm not sure. I caught him or her sneaking around the scale model of a cemetery. And later, I found a tracing of something right by it. So if I could just figure out what it's a tracing of, and what, if anything, it has to do with that model cemetery, I might be able to figure out who Skeleton Man is.
I know that tone of voice. You're not leaving there until you've done just that, are you?
Actually, I'm not leaving because they've canceled cab service around here because of the rain. In fact, since I can't go anywhere, I'm hoping you can check something out for me. I found some kind of receipt in the fireplace that may or may not be a clue.
What's it a receipt for?
That's what I need to find out. See, it's half burned up. All I can read is the receipt number and the name of the place it's from. Zeke's.
Zeke's? You gotta be kidding me.
Why? What do you mean?
I mean, I'm sitting here on our balcony in the French Quarter looking down at a place across the street called Zeke's.
That's great. So go over there and ask whoever's behind the counter what receipt number 21-3872 is for.
You want me to snoop?
I wouldn't call it snooping.
Forget it. Not gonna do
Oh yeah, then what would you call
I'm
it?
not good at that sneaking around stuff, Nancy. I get nervous, my tongue gets all knotted up, my palms sweat, to say nothing of my armpits.
Beth, receipt number 21-3872. Just go in and ask what it's for. No big deal.
Maybe not for you.
Beth, you can do it.
This is not gonna end well, I just know it. Okay, I'll call you as soon as it's over.
I'll be waiting.
Alright. Let's go down there then. Go inside. Huh. That's interesting. These can be moved around in certain spots. Oh, look. More of those powders. Did Renee get her hiccuping powder here? I don't think there's a powder that can make you cry or giggle either. I mean, not possible physically or physiologically, I don't think. Itching powder, yes, though.
Ooh, they weren't kidding. Ew.
I don't know if that exists, but I mean, that's possible to have. What I just mean is, I don't think anything like that can actually cause you to cry or giggle just by smelling it. Then there's this. Well, they say pepper makes you sneeze, but doesn't really. I mean, that could happen, but itching powder definitely is real. Alright, let's talk to the owner here.
Hey, doing a little end of the day shopping, huh? See something you like?
I like everything.
That's what I want to hear. I'm Lamont. This is my place. If you got any questions, I'm the guy to ask.
Actually, I do have a question. This friend of mine found the number of a receipt that came from this shop, and she asked me to ask you what the receipt is for. But if you're really busy, or you'd rather not, or it's against the rules...
No problem. What's the number?
21-3872.
21-3872. Here we go. That ticket was for a large box of assorted unknown items I bought from Henry Bolay. And, that's all I can tell you.
Is something wrong?
Look, I just don't want to make trouble for anyone, okay?
Where's the box now?
It's still in the back room. I haven't had a chance to really go through it yet. Hey, is there something else I
Look
can
how
help
quickly
you
he
with?
changes the
These
subject. He's trying to
school
avoid
books.
talking about it.
Got great deals on all of them.
Well, it looks like Renee was right. Henry had sold some of Bruno's things on the sly when he's not supposed to do that.
Is Henry Boulay a friend of yours?
But
No, I
why?
met him at the reception at Bruno's house following the funeral. Gave Henry my card, said when he wanted to start liquidating, he should give me a call.
Was Bruno a friend of yours?
Way I hear it, Bruno Bolay didn't have any friends. But I wish he had been my friend. I mean, the house of his is filled with junk. He kept everything. For someone in my business, the place is knick-knack heaven.
Seeing as this place is called Zeke's, and it's your place, shouldn't your name be Zeke?
Guy I bought this place from wouldn't sell it to me unless I swore I wouldn't change the name. So I didn't. Funny thing was, his name wasn't Zeke either.
But was
With all
he
those bottles of weird
the
stuff over there.
original
Something
proprietor?
some of the more superstitious people around here practice. They think if you mix certain
Has to be
herbs
called
and
Zeke
roots
for a
certain
reason.
way and drink them, or carry special objects around in little mojo bags, it can give you a
Carry special objects in mojo bags.
Does it work?
All I can tell you is, the stuff I got in here sells like hotcakes. Somebody thinks it works, so hey, who knows?
I guess Renee is a constant customer, perhaps, given that she's already
I'm gonna
bought
keep
that
browsing if
hiccuping
that's
powder.
okay.
Sounds like a plan.
Alright, now, so we seem to be stuck. Well, this is optional, and I'm gonna show you. We can call Nancy.
Hello?
Good news and bad news, Nance. I found out that the receipt is for a box of stuff that Lamont, that's the guy who owns Zeke's, bought from Henry Boulay.
No kidding. What kind of stuff did Henry sell him?
That's the bad news. The box is in a back room, and it contains assorted unknown items, and that's all Lamont would tell me. Said something about not wanting to get anyone in trouble. So, looks like that's that.
No.
No. You've got to get into the back room and find out what's in that box. Which means you're probably going to have to, you know.
Oh no, I'm not going to snoop, Nancy Drew. I told you, I'm a lousy snooper.
You've got to, Beth. I have no way of getting down there, and seeing what's in that box could be really important.
Could be? I'm supposed to risk life, limb, and liberty for something that could be important?
Yes, Bess, please, just find a way to distract this Lamont guy. Look through the box and leave. You can do that, okay?
You owe me, Nancy Drew. Oh, do you owe me?
You're the greatest. You really are.
Okay, so you don't have to call Nancy to tell her that, but that's what you have to, but I just wanted to show you that conversation. So we're going to have to distract Lamont using this shelf and all these items, but there's a way to do it. I mean, these have to be organized in a certain sequence. I mean, certain objects have to be in certain places. We're going to have to make a contraption. Let's see, to get it to start, you push it right here.
I'm getting there, I think.
So it came up short, but we're gonna need this, the sneezing powder.
This might come in handy.
Yep. We're gonna have to wire this contraption to make Lamont sneeze. Okay, so it has to be put there, and now I'll try it again. There we go.
There, that should do it. Lamont, could you help me?
Sure, what do you need?
I can't quite reach that bottle up there. Could you get it for me?
Sure.
Uh-oh, here it goes.
Oh no.
Now he's
Oh,
gonna
my gosh.
sneeze and he won't be able to
I'm
stop.
sorry. I'll go get you something. What do you need?
Nose spray. Back room.
No spray, back room, got it.
I want to work fast because I don't want to really hear him sneezing. It's quite an annoying sound. Okay, that's the box right there. Here's the nose spray, but
I need
Bess
to go
will
to that
say,
box for Nancy, then get the nose spray for Lamont.
I don't think anything can instantly stop this nasal spray. Can't instantly stop people from sneezing. So let's quickly look in the box.
Cute dog.
Okay, I'm gonna have to open this box, but how do we know the combination? Well, using this letter and this little code right here, this indicates how many, the letters that correspond with the numbers here that to put in the, in as the code. So like, for example, for the first sentence, first letter would be L, 3 letters later will be E, 32 letters later is B, and so just then follow that code, so on and so forth. So I'll just put in the letters L, E, B, E, N, U, N, D, T, O, D. Great, it opened.
Whoa, this is weird. I better call Nancy and read this to her word for word.
Wow, Bess, that is weird.
No, I'll tell you what's weird. The box the letter is in is padded, and it has this round indentation in it that's the exact size of a human skull. It's like it used to contain a skull, but now it doesn't.
Did you find anything else?
Yeah, inside the box that this box is in, there's a couple of photographs. One's of a boy and a dog, and the other is of an iguana dressed up like a pirate.
What?
And there's a costume in the box of a skeleton man.
Really?
Thought you'd like that.
Good job, Bess. I'm gonna poke around here and see if I can find out anything about a skull called the Whisperer.
Is that the crystal skull in the title
Can
then?
you believe it? The guy is still sneezing. He must keep nose spray around because something's wrong with his sinuses. Oh, he's gonna hate me.
Alright, well, so that one photo we saw of an iguana dressed up as a pirate. Where did we see an iguana? Oh, that's right here in the library. Let's see if we can approach it now. Here we go.
What was that?
That was Uncle Bruno's pet iguana, Iggy. He's always in here stealing paper. He must be using it to build a nest or something. Look, I had all those books arranged so they fit perfectly in that box. Put them back in, okay? I don't have time.
I just want to look through this one book.
Go right ahead, after you put all those other books back.
Alright, so we have to arrange the books back, just like in Danger on Deception Island, but this is a little bit easier. Because you have single books instead of a couple of piles of maybe 2 to 3. Alrighty dighty. As Mariana Bourne or Jane Willoughby would say. Okay. Alright, see, that wasn't that hard. But here now we need to look at book by Hotchkiss, Beatrice Hotchkiss, the character from Treasure in the Royal Tower. Oh, and that must be her phone number, so yes, I'm gonna call her, but not just yet. Gotta use that paper. So, this is the crystal skull in the title, The Whisperer. Let's see if we can talk to Henry about anything. Maybe anything about Bruno's death.
Yes?
How did Bruno die, if you don't mind my asking?
Just dropped dead in the front hallway. I mean, the guy was 95 years old. Here, check it out. Myocardial infarction. That's doctor speak for heart attack.
Attending physician, Dr. Gilbert Buford, 504.
I prefer to use in a more formal sentence, the medical term for heart attack.
Or so I'm told. I've never met him.
Not doctor speak.
Interesting keychain.
That's one of Uncle Bruno's glass eyes.
How
It's the one he was wearing when he
nice.
died.
How nice.
Anything else?
I'm going to keep looking around.
Whatever.
Okay. Well, this item that I got from the book has to do with the paintings, because it shows 4 on the top, 5 on the bottom. What it refers to are the items or animals with the people in the pictures. So TBFM. These are the initials for the items or animals they're holding. So that's toothbrush, T. So then we look at the rest. BFM, banana, fan, monkey, okay, lollipop, hat, axe, dog, and umbrella. Secret passageway? All right, secret passageway is Nancy's middle name, I believe. Oh, what's this? I am the beholder. We'll take a look when I get back out there.
Come on, Summer, give me a break.
Summer must be his girlfriend.
Well, how was I supposed to know? I mean, what am I, telepathic? No, come on, don't get upset. Look, I'll see what I can do, okay? What do you mean, something else? You've gotta be kidding me, Summer. I don't have that kind of money. No, I meant
I don't have it now, but I will soon, okay? Bye.
Huh.
Oh, man.
High maintenance girlfriend, it sounds like. Okay, it's locked.
Locked,
Oh,
naturally.
these look like the, 1, 2, 3, the indication of, oh, it must be the spider hole out there. There's lines surrounding it that are musical notes, so it looks like I need to play those in the order, for 1 note, 2 note, in that right order, indicating to get the key, of course. Hopefully that'll get rid of that spider, so it won't bite me again. I wonder if that spider was one of Bruno's pets. And that's could be why any of these pets are dangerous, and that's why Henry said be careful. Okay, so 1 is here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, I got it. Got rid of the spider, now I should be able to get it safely and go in. While I'm out here, let me talk to Renee, see if she knows anything about the crystal skull.
Hello again.
Did Dr. Boulay ever say anything to you about a crystal skull? He may have referred to it as the Whisperer.
No, he never so much as mentioned a crystal skull, whispering or otherwise.
Were you in the house when Dr. Boulay passed away?
I was indeed. I was in the library cleaning when all of a sudden I heard a big thump. I hurried out to investigate, and sure enough, there was Dr. Boulay lying by the front door. And as I rushed over to him, the door opened and in walked Gilbert Buford. He took one look at Dr. Boulay and hollered at me to call 911. So I ran back into the library and did just that. When I came back out, Gilbert was leaning over Dr. Boulay, listening for breathing, I suppose. And then he started pushing up and down on his chest. But it was too late. And I could tell that Dr. Boulay was gone.
How was it that Gilbert was able to just walk right in like that?
As you yourself discovered, people around here seldom lock their front doors during the day. But you know, in the back of my mind, I have always wondered about Gilbert Buford showing up at the door at that exact moment.
I understand that Dr. Boulay had some interesting pets, like an iguana.
That man never met a creature he didn't like. He trained them to do all kinds of silly tricks, then let them run free, inside the house as well as out.
Do you know how he went about training them?
I surely do not. Don't get me wrong. I liked Dr. Boulay, I truly did. But I swear, sometimes his activities made as much sense to me as bathing in a bayou full of gators.
I'd better get going.
Take care, hon.
Okay, now let's go into that secret room. Huh, must be a secret room for Bruno. Ah, map of teeth, because he was a dentist, remember? Oh, this must be Iggy's wardrobe.
May 31st. That's today.
Really? Bruno Sinclair Boulay. Huh. So he was a member of a crew. Wow, that must be him being initiated. Wait a minute. Notice all of these men dressed as skeletons have blue ascots, but the leader apparently has a red one. Is that who attacked Nancy earlier today? Well, I'll be darned. Okay, now, this is what I need to do a lot of puzzles around here. I'm going to have to collect more glass eyes. can't get them all in this at once or in the same place, but some reason to get outside of the drat. Ugh. I hate this. You only have 2 chances to try to get it. Darn it.
Gotcha.
Finally. Alright, Hey, those look like, the words, the, phonetics of the word, of the hoodoo symbols. So let's see what happens when I put in those 7, words from Renee's wall. Okay, so nothing happens, so you have to make it talk. Oh, it's wearing another glass eye. Oh, and a few other odds and ends or items to get. Yep, this is for another puzzle. I'll do it in a bit. Okay, now I can't look on the click on the dummy anymore, but obviously that was the spirit that Renee heard on the other side of the wall. I wonder why it was being done. Bruno playing a joke or something. All right, here's how I'll show you to get another eye. My least favorite puzzle in this game. I really hate it. It's a little skee ball machine. You have to change all the teeth here to eyes in order to get another glass eye. It's what I hate the most is trying to turn all of the in the top this and this here into eyes, because trying to get good aim. They're trying to aim the ball in the right places. Alright, that's... Yeah. Really what's difficult is changing the top and middle corners. All right. The centers aren't that difficult. Okay. Oh. But after some practices, I think I can do it so that it won't be a huge deal while playing this. Like, I won't make many mistakes. Okay. Okay. Now all I gotta do are the centers and the bottom. The bottom is the easiest, the one closest. This one right here, that's the easiest to do. It's just getting these and these that's most difficult. The corners of the middle. The centers are a piece of cake. So yeah, this is I made this look easy because I figured out a strategy to do it so I wouldn't be wasting a lot of time making mistakes. Okay. Alright, another eye. Thank heaven. Done with that. And look at this. This is where all the eyes go. So let's see how many I have right now.
I've found. Let's see how we're doing.
Okay, got about a third of them. So that's 8. So, since I've opened this, now let's see if I can ask Henry if I can use that glass eye. There are a couple more to get right here. That token that I got from the dummy will give me a glass eye here. If I just turned it, I'll get gumballs instead of the eye. And here's a puzzle that will lead to another eye. When I open it, it won't give me the eye, but it's a hint for another puzzle to get an eye. And then most of the others I'll have to find using that Tired Eyes book. And a lot of them are downstairs or outside, so I'm going to work on those puzzles. Whoa, spider. And you know what that means? Yes, I have to play the notes in that order in the spider hole in order to get the eye. So, let me go ahead and start doing that. Is that where I came in?
There must be another way out.
Yes, there is. Don't worry. I know where it is. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Okay, it's right here. But I have to use this to open it up. Now, let me go start working on those puzzles in the Tired Eyes book. Let's start with this one, with the clock. Time will tell. So, I'm not gonna tell you all the numbers and how to figure them out in each part. There are 3 parts to this, so I'll get 3 different eyes, but I'll give an example. For part 1, it reads, midday, 3 hours have passed, move ahead 2 hours more, and 9 hours before, 6 hours before, and moved ahead 9. That means I have to put in 12, and you have to click that each time after each number. 3, 5, 8, 2, 11. Okay, so that's 1 eye. Now I've got 2 more to go. But I'm just going to put in those numbers. I'm not going to explain what each of them are. Each of them is. So, all right. 12, 7, 10, 3, 2, 1. All right, 2 down, 1 more to go. That looked like a reptile eye of some sort. All right, another 12, 8, 10, 4, 9, 11. All right. Now, I remember before going into the secret passageway, I clicked on that little place to zoom in on this book, Eye of the Beholder. Well, guess what's in there? An eye. That also looks like a reptile eye. Okay, another one from the Tired Eyes book is The Librarian's Tale.
A librarian's tale. Something Bruno Bollet wrote in that Tired Eyes book mentioned the librarian's eye.
Here it is.
So, a librarian's tale.
But there's a lock combination on it, so what's the number? Well, a clue that said the title's the thing, addition's the hook. So what that means is, as you may have noticed, each of these books mentioned here have numbers in the card catalog, have numbers beside them. So what you have to do is take into account all of the books listed that have I in the title and add those numbers together. So the combination adds to 1540. And you get another I. Before I move on further, I just wanted to point out there are a couple of these books that reference past characters like Prudent Living, a memoir by Prudence Rutherford, who is a phone character in Secret of the Scarlet Hand and Danger by Design. Okay, just here's an example of one of the books and its numbers that needed to be used to open up a librarian's tale. I in the title, that's the clue. All the books that have I mentioned in the title and their numbers combine to get that code. Cavities and their prevention. Well, he was a dentist, so I guess that's why he had that book. Finding Fish by Bill Kessler. Wow, that was a character who loved to ice fish in White Wolf of Icicle Creek. And look, the number beside it is 016. Is that a nod to White Wolf being the 16th game? Maybe. All right. I think there's one other puzzle right here to get an eye. It's this one. So with this, these books are meant to correspond to the different teeth on the map in Bruno's study. These are supposed to be baby teeth. Well, these are permanent teeth. And the teeth mentioned in that book, for baby teeth, according to the notes, upper right second molar, upper right central incisor, upper left central incisor, and lower left lateral incisor. So what you do is click on the books that correspond to the teeth. And even though this is our left side, this we're supposed to be looking at this as if it were a patient. So this becomes, the left side here becomes the patient right side and vice versa. So the books to pull on are this one, and this is in the order mentioned in that book. Okay, so we got the baby teeth. Now for the permanent teeth, let's see. The lower right canine, upper left first bicuspid, lower left canine, lower left third molar. So I have to pull in corresponding to those 4 teeth. Here, 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 and here. And here's another eye. Let's see how many I've got now. 15. Well, let's go outside and get the eyes from that. That's should be the buzzards at Bruno's crypt. That's wrong place. Okay, so notice here there's a little indentation here. Well, I'm gonna have to open those to get an eye in each of these 4 places, but I'm going to have to pull down on the buzzards here in order to get the feathers up. And there is no one way in order to one correct way to press the buzzards in order to get all the feathers up, but I'll show you one way. Let's see. Let's see if I'll pull this one. And regardless of which one you push the first time, it's just going to show now that one of the feathers is up. So now I'm going to pull it again. And again, this is just one order. There's no real clue to figure out what sequence in which to push these, but there are different options, and I'm just showing you an example. One example. And something will happen when I get all the feathers on the buzzard upright. Let's take a look, see how it's doing. Oh, almost there. Okay, so then I'm gonna push this one more time. So that's the master buzzard, the one on the top with the feathers sprouting upward. All right. Now I should get the tool in order to open up those locks. See, there's that indentation, matches perfectly. So, okay. Now that should give me 4 eyes. 4 eyes. Totally unexpected joke on my part. Alright, that's 19. Let me see, I think there's one more puzzle I have to do from the Tired Eyes book. Steps in the right direction. I already did the other 4. And this last page is Plentiful Pirates and Nautical Nonsense. If nautical nonsense be something you wish, SpongeBob SquarePants. Notice there are numbers on the bottom here. These indicate the directions that the eyes have to be turned in that spot where I found the one eye where all 25 go. But I won't know that until I get all 25. So I need, for the steps in the right direction puzzle, I need this shovel right here. Let's ask Renee if I can borrow it.
This shovel with the weird handle. Do you think I could borrow it?
Dr. Bolay took great interest in that shovel. Don't know why. Never used it. Just like to see it hanging there. Me, I use it to dig up roots.
I could dig you up some roots.
Right now, I need mushrooms. I was hoping to get them picked tonight, but from the looks of all this potting I still have to do...
I'd be happy to pick them for you.
Why, what a generous offer. All right, then. I need 5 painted conchs. They're mushrooms that have got a short, fat stem and a large, bell-shaped cap covered with big red dots. You might find 1 or 2 here in the garden, but you'll have better luck in the boggy part of the cemetery. You get me 5, no more, no less, and I'll let you borrow that shovel. Deal. You can put them in this bag.
All right.
How else may I be of service to you?
I'd better get going.
Take care, hon.
All right. Now, since I'm going to be going in this looking around in the cemetery or close to it for the painted conchs, I want to take the time to also do the cemetery puzzle here. Okay, so the last denizen buried on my guard. Well, that was, I already looked there. It's Tammy Tasselman.
That looks like the right name.
So I'm going to have to find where she's buried to find the next clue of where to go and find out where this all leads. Okay, I think there are 2 painted conchs here in the garden, so I'll get one. There's one.
Got to be a painted conch.
Wow, it's quite beautiful. Okay, I think the other one is right around here. Here we go.
Another painted conch. Yes!
Okay, so that's 2 down, 3 to go. And in the time that I'm doing this, I'm going to go to the memorials to find the buried denizens, as it was said, and find the next clue. Okay. I don't think this is... Can't always remember where I have not memorized where all the memorials are. Oh, here we go. You know it's the correct place when it turns red. When the magnifying glass is red. Alright. Now, the next several names of the people buried have names that are puns. Oh, one of my favorite things. And it's not that hard to figure out. I did look at the list already beforehand, but it's not hard to figure out their names based on these descriptive clues here. So I'll show you like who this is, an example in reference what the name is based on that pun clue. So it's Constance Norrain. How clever.
That's gotta be it.
Okay. Okay, while I'm doing this, I still want to get the painted conchs. And here's another one. Oh, but watch what happens when this log is moved. A gator. Just like that gator model, like that little gator I saw in the model cemetery. And you don't want to touch the log again, because then it'll be lights out for Nancy, and we don't want that. Okay, so now I'm going to find Constance snoring. Never early, never late. Well, that's easy for me to remember. It's just in time. What a great pun for a name.
That looks like the right name.
All right, now I gotta find out where he is. For someone who loves puns, I mean, doing this kind of puzzle is perfect for me. Here we go. All dressed up with no place to go. Well, that is Mannequin.
There.
I'm no dummy. All right, so let's find out where he's buried. Oh, here's another painted conch. I think that's 4 of them. I need one more. Died in debt. That would be Owen Moore. Oh, what great names.
That looks like the right name.
Okay. A stand-up person. That would be Neil Down.
Let's hope Neil
Neil is lying down by now. All right. All that's left of me are these old bones. That would be Myra Remains. My remains.
Bingo.
I know it sounds a little morbid, but it's funny to me. Born too late, prune too early. That's Rose Winter Spring.
Smells right
To me. I think the place where she's buried is right here. Yeah, that was pretty fast. She would have given you the shirt off her back. That is Polly Esther Givens. And now Nancy will say, hopefully this will givens me a clue. So let's find out where she's buried. But while I'm here, I want to try to find the last painted conch. I think it's down here. Oh no, this is where I have to go for the last puzzle in the Tired Eyes book. Here it is. Here we go. Same name as my dog at 10. Moved from his grave and buried again. Oh, so yeah, Bruno did have a dog. That picture of him and his dog in that box of things that Lamont bought from Henry. So we're going to have to call Bess to just get her to find out what the name of the dog is. Let's see, I think I got all of the painted conchs now, so let's go give them to Renee, and I'll use that shovel in the wicker grave.
Did you pick me those mushrooms yet?
Sure did.
Well, bless your heart, you didn't.
Actually, picking the one growing on the log sticking out of the swamp was a little hairy.
Oh my, I forgot to warn you about Bernie, didn't I?
If by Bernie you mean the alligator that almost had me for dinner, yeah, you did.
He's another one of Dr. Bolay's pets. He'd kick that log to get Bernie's attention, then feed him marshmallows. Problem is, now that gator leaps up and snaps every time someone so much as touches that log. I should have said something, but I've gotten so used to Bernie, I just plain forgot. Anyway, feel free to help yourself to that shovel. You earned it.
Did Dr. Boulay by any chance ever mention the name of his dog to you?
Well, now, seems to me he did say he had a dog once, way back when he was a young'un. But when it comes to its name, I'm afraid I'm no help at all.
I'd better get going.
Take care, hon.
Alright, I'll take the shovel and do that puzzle. Then I'm gonna call Bess and ask to get her the name of the dog. Yeah, that's the last of the puzzles. It's those 5 puzzles that get the eyes. Well, some of them anyway. Oh, I gotta do that puzzle on the fountain, too. Can't forget that. Alright, so, as you see here, these letters indicate the directions to go west, north, east, and south. And when you take the shovel, as long as you remember the directions that they need to go, this indicates how many times you need to go in that direction. So, starting with west, I have to go 4 times. 2, 3, 4. Okay, and you ignore it now because you've used up all the times you had to go in that direction. So you turn it the next direction it has to be, and then you go in that direction so many times it gives you. So now I have to go north twice. Now turn it to east. I have to go there that way once. Now south. And that's 3 times. And west twice. North twice. West 3 times. South 3 times. East once. North twice. East once. North 3 times. 2, 3. East 1, 2, 3, 4. South 5 times. 5. Then lastly, west twice. Okay, that shows I did it right. Now I just have to do a little more digging. Oh. Okay, I think that's 20 eyes. Just need 5 more, so I gotta pick this up. Alright, so then let me go to that fountain. Okay, the notes in that order: middle C 3 times, D, E 3 times, D, middle C, D, E, middle C. Alright, so that should make 21 eyes. But now I've hit another dead end because I need to know the name of that dog. So let's call Bess and get her to find out. I will call Professor Hotchkiss and Gilbert Buford after I get the information from Bess.
Hello?
Hi, Bess. How you doing?
Great. I just took a nice, luxurious bubble bath and I'm ready to boogie. When are you coming back here?
That's still kind of hard to say, but listen. Remember that old photo of a boy and his dog you said you saw in that box of stuff Henry sold to Lamont?
Yeah?
Did it look like it was maybe taken in the 1920s?
That's exactly what it looked like. Why?
Because I need to find out the name of Bruno Gollet's dog. And if that boy was Bruno, then that was probably his dog. Was there any writing on the picture?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I think it said Bruno.
That's all it said? Just Bruno?
No, it said Bruno but whatever came after and was hidden by the frame.
I really need to know the name of that dog.
Oh, no. No, you don't. No more snooping.
Bess, just get into that box again and see if the dog's name is on that picture. That's all I want you to do.
How? I can't just go waltzing into Lamont's back room.
And he's for sure as heck not gonna fall for that sneeze contraption again.
There must be some other way you can distract him. Please, Beth. I can't tell you how important this is. You've got to do this for me. Please?
Absolutely, unequivocally, for the last time, no. Who am I kidding? We're not gonna have any fun here until you solve this mystery, and since you can't do that until I do this... Okay, I'll sneak into the back room and take another look at that photo. I mean, I will if I don't screw up.
Think positive, Beth. You're going to do fine.
You bet I am. In fact, I'm not going to call you again until I have seen that picture. I'm going in.
You go, girl.
Yeah, think like going into spy mode. Just how confident are you?
Hey,
In all your journeys through the wonderful world of junk, have you ever come across one of those legendary crystal skulls?
what makes you ask that?
You have so many other oddities in here, I was just wondering.
No. I know the legend, of course, and I sure wouldn't mind getting my hands on one of those babies. I mean, I could sell it for a fortune, but no such luck. Funny, I've been thinking about those skulls lately. A lot.
Really? Hey, maybe we got some kind of psychic thing going here. Quick, think of a number between 1 and 10 and I'll try to guess it. You thinking of a number? Okay, 4.
9.
Darn. Guess it was just a coincidence.
Guess so.
That gumbo stand outside? What do you think? Is it pretty authentic?
Outstanding! Just watch the hot sauce. Whatever's in it gives my stomach instant fits.
You know, I still feel guilty about that sneezing thing. So how about I go and get you a nice big bowl of gumbo?
Just so happens I'm starving, so hey, you got a deal.
Great. I'll be right back.
So that's a clue here. Watch the hot sauce. So we're gonna give him some gumbo, all right, with hot sauce. Let's go to the gumbo truck.
What can I do for you?
Hey, look at this. The person behind the counter that looks like the outfit worn by Shorty Thurman in Secret of Shadow Ranch.
Can I get a gumbo to go, please?
There you go.
So let's not forget to put the hot sauce on. And while I'm here, I'm going to have Bess order all the foods.
A bowl of gumbo, please.
Knock yourself out.
Watch what happens when I have her eat the food and all of them have hot sauce put on them.
Talk about spicy.
I really want to go to New Orleans and try food like gumbo there, but
Enjoy.
I don't think I could take the hot sauce. I think I'd get sick.
Woo, that was hot.
Knock yourself out.
So then watch what happens after eating
Talk about spicy.
all these foods with hot sauce put on them. Whoa. Did she burp fire? Whoa, Bess, I thought you'd be a little more polite than that. Okay, let's go and back to Zeke's to give Lamont this gumbo. And then let's sneak back while he gets an upset stomach.
Gumbo?
There you go. Enjoy.
Uh-oh. Oh, you're gonna have to excuse me.
Okay, let's hurry. Huh, wonder what that is.
Uh-oh, I better get out of here.
Grant? The dog's name was Grant?
That's what it said on the photo.
Kind of a weird name for a dog, huh?
Yeah, well, Bruno Bollet was kind of a weird guy. Hey, thanks a lot, Bess. You've been a huge help.
I'll tell you, being sneaky takes a lot out of me. I'm exhausted.
I still don't know when I'll get back there, so just kind of hang loose, okay?
Story of my life. Call me if you need me.
I will. Bye.
Okay, let me go out then and find, person with the surname of Grant, where they're buried. Alright. Derek Grant. Oh, it's Iggy's pirate hat and another eye. Well, let's see. I've got 22. Let's ask Henry if I can have that one glass eye that he has on the keychain that Bruno was wearing. And then I'm going to make some phone calls. Call Professor Hotchkiss and Gilbert Buford's office.
Yes?
How come your great-uncle's crypt is in the garden and not in the cemetery?
Don't ask me. It's kind of weird. Apparently, he built the crypt himself, but he never indicated in his will or anywhere else that that's where he wanted to be buried. I stuck his ashes in there anyway and had the thing inscribed. If that's not what he wanted,
Too bad.
Do you think I could borrow your keychain? The one that has Bruno's glass eye on it?
You want to borrow it? What for?
Actually, all I really want is the eye. I mean, it's just so cool.
What if you break it?
If it's on a chain, it can't be that fragile.
I don't think I want to take that chance. Sorry.
So he said no, but we have a way to get him to say yes.
The box of your great-uncle's things that you sold to Zeke's curio shop, that was a no-no, wasn't it?
What box of things? I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, don't play dumb with me.
I checked out that half-burned receipt from Zeke's that I found in the fireplace.
Well, somebody screwed up somewhere because I haven't sold anything to anybody. Why would I sell one lousy box of stuff when I'm about to inherit?
Because you needed some
house
quick
full of
money to
stuff?
keep Summer happy.
Real.
You sold it because you needed some quick cash in order to keep Summer happy, didn't you?
How do you know about her?
Playing detective is actually a lot more than a hobby with me. I could make a lot of trouble for you, Henry. But if you come clean, tell me about Summer.
She's this girl I'm in love with. I think she loves me back, but she's so unpredictable it drives me nuts.
You argue a lot?
All the time, mostly over how schizoid she is. I mean, I never know what's gonna make her happy. Like, just before I left, I took practically every bit of cash I had and bought her a bunch of CDs. You know, to keep her occupied while I was gone, right? Well, soon as I get here, she calls and says her sound system just went bluey, and I had to buy her a new one. Because what good were the CDs I bought her if she couldn't play them? So then you threw a bunch of Bruno's things into a box and sold it to that curio shop. Yeah. I wired her the money, but then she called and said she also needed new headphones. Next call, it was new speakers. And now she expects me to buy her a flat screen TV. When I try to talk to her about always wanting more like that, she gets really mad. But I'm afraid if I don't give her what she wants, I'm afraid she'll dump me. I couldn't take that. I mean, she's the only girlfriend I've ever had.
I don't think she loves Henry. I think she's just using him to get things that she wants without having to get them herself. And she can sense that he wants to be loved.
I guess I could just forget all about it. Especially if you were to, say, do something for me.
I know. You still want the glass eye? Take it. Go ahead. It's all yours. You want something, I want something, take it and we're even, okay?
Well, it's not like you sold off half the estate or anything.
$300. That's all I've gotten out of his estate. I swear. Go on, take it.
Okay.
I was naughty, but from now on I'll be nice, I promise. Oh,
Do you know anything about the crystal skull that was in that box of junk you sold to Zeke's?
there wasn't any crystal skull in that box.
Are you sure? It would have been inside another box.
Well, I did throw in some smaller boxes. Like I said, I was just grabbing stuff. Was it valuable?
All I really know for sure right now is that it's missing.
Great. Be just my luck to have sold something that wasn't junk to that glorified trash collector.
I'll check back with you later.
Groovy.
Okay. Just 2 more eyes. But in order to press forward, I need to make phone calls. First, I'm going to call Hotchkiss. Talk to her about everything I can. About the crystal skulls and this one, the Whisperer.
Yes, hello?
Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. Is this Professor Hotchkiss?
I am she. Nancy Drew. Your name has a ring to it. Do I know you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, we met a little while back in Wisconsin.
Oh, yes. You were the delightful young lady doling out the samples in the tasting room of that cheese factory. Yum, yum.
No, I met you at Wickford Castle.
That's ridiculous. There was no cheese tasting room at Wickford Castle.
Oh, brother, now she
we were
doesn't
both
remember
guests
Nancy
there.
again.
I found a journal written by Marie Antoinette, which you translated. Remember?
Nope.
Thanks to you, suddenly all I can think about is how wonderful a nice big slab of Colby cheese would taste right now. Listen, Mandy, I'm on a deadline, so if you could please just tell me why you called.
But my name is...
Deadline! Let's cut to the chase, shall we? Chop, chop.
Ugh. She called Mandy once. I almost did it myself in Treasure in the Royal Tower.
Did a man from New Orleans named Bruno Bollet ever call you?
Ah, now there's a name you can remember. Bollet. Nice and French. I'm a scholar of French history,
Yes, I know.
you know.
Yes, I know. So did Bruno Bollet call you?
Indeed he did.
Oui, oui.
Why did he call, if you don't mind my asking?
Because he had read my book, of course. The Crystal Skull. Fact or fable, one of my best efforts. Sold like hotcakes, smothered in a rich, tangy lemon sauce.
Do you remember what you talked about?
If memory serves, we talked mostly about the skull called the Whisperer. He wanted to know if I had learned any more about it since my book was published, which I hadn't, or if I had any theory as to what happened to it, which I didn't.
And that was the extent of your conversation?
Well, now, let me think. My, such insatiable curiosity, Nellie. You remind me of someone I encountered
Nancy
on
Drew,
one of
Wickford
my
Castle.
journeys. But for the life of me, I cannot remember her name or the circumstances.
Nancy Drew, Wickford Castle?
Ah, the eyes have it.
I'm sorry?
That's what Bruno Bollet said when I turned the tables and asked him if he had any idea where the Whisperer was. He said, the eyes have it. Then he chuckled and hung up.
How much would a crystal skull like the Whisperer be worth?
In this crazy day and age, where the short hair and used tissues of celebrities get sold for thousands of dollars, there's absolutely no telling, Candy. $500,000 easily. Maybe even $1 million. Maybe 2. Maybe 10. The sky's the limit. Cha-ching, cha-ching.
That's another name she called her, Candy.
If someone found
She
a
can't even
skull made
remember
of
what she
crystal,
calls her
how can they
even.
be sure it's one of the crystal skulls?
Wonderful question, Francie. How indeed? Because there are sure to be
Francie, that's what
fakes out there.
Lori Gerard
Perhaps
called Nancy.
tens of
Couldn't remember her name
But
either.
remember, the real skulls were made long before the tools commonly used for carving today were invented. Which means, let's put on our thinking caps.
Modern day tools would have left marks if the skull was a fake?
Exactly so. Mind you, the marks on a good fake would be microscopic and thus imperceptible to the human eye. However, any thorough laboratory analysis would quickly unmask a counterfeit.
So the only way to prove that a skull is the real deal is by proving it's not a fake?
and by examining its provenance, its history of ownership. If it can be shown that a particular specimen has been passed along from antiquity into modern times and didn't just suddenly appear in, say, Germany in the mid-19th century, that would tend to support its authenticity as well.
The idea that the Whisperer can make its owner immortal, do you believe that?
I believe that things that defy any so-called rational explanations happen all the time, Nessie. Now, does that mean there are mysterious external forces at work in the universe of which we do not and cannot ever have full knowledge? Or does it all boil down to us? If the human heart desperately wants something to be true, does the human mind have the power to make it true? Who knows? Oh, questions, questions, questions. Oh, how dreary life would be without them.
Do you know of any relationship between the Whisperer and a crew in New Orleans called the Jolly Rogers?
A crew named after the skull and crossbones flag flown by European and American pirates? How so very colorful, yo-ho-ho! Why'd you ask?
The man who called you about the Whisperer, Bruno Bollet, he was a member of the Jolly Rogers. I just thought maybe one had something to do with the other.
Had the Whisperer fallen into the hands of pirates, I promise you my research would have turned up that fact. But it didn't. Therefore, no relationship. Coincidence strikes again.
In your book, you said that all the people who've ever owned the Whisperer were murdered. Yet Bruno Bollet dropped dead of a heart attack.
Are you saying the Whisperer was in his possession after all? The scallywag! Why didn't he tell me that? Oh, that's right. I would have hung up on him. Well, if that's the case, then I strongly suggest you take a close look at his so-called heart attack, Sandy. Because if he owned the skull and he died, I guarantee you it was at the hands of someone else. For my name's not Beatrice
Gertrude Winifred Hotchkiss. That's a mouthful of a name.
That's it for now.
Rock and roll!
Rock and roll! Rock and roll, dear. That's what she says at one point in Treasure in the Royal Tower. Before I call, Dr. Buford's place, wrong way, I wanted to look at something in Bruno's study. I think, up here.
Here, Iggy, Iggy, Iggy.
Yeah, Iggy's in the vent.
Iggy, come here, Iggy. Got something for you.
Okay, well, he won't come yet. I'm gonna look in his wardrobe again now that we have the hat.
This is Dr. Gilbert Buford's answering service. How may I help you?
I need to talk to Dr. Buford. Could you maybe give me a number where I can reach him?
No, ma'am, I cannot. Is this an emergency?
Sort of. I mean, it's not a medical emergency. See, I'm only going to be in town for a short time, and Dr. Buford and I have this mutual friend who died recently, and I just really need to talk to him about it.
Need some consoling, huh?
Yes, I need some consoling. That's it exactly.
Well, tell you what. It's against the rules to give you his phone number, but I can tell you that now that he's all but retired, Dr. Buford spends most of his evenings at his favorite gumbo stand down in the French Quarter. If you really need to talk to him, you can probably find him there.
Great. Do you know the address?
It's at the corner of Rampart and Domain.
Did you say Rampart and Domain?
I did indeed. Granny Pumpkin's Cajun cooking. They make some darn fine gumbo.
So that's right across from Bess and Nancy's hotel.
And, I'm truly sorry about your loss.
So we're going to have to get Bess to go there and talk to him.
A friend of yours and Dr. Buford?
Oh, right. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Bye.
Okay. Now let's call Bess.
Bess, it's me.
So what's been happening? Tell me everything.
Well, let's see. Since the last time we talked, I was just about ready to...
Interesting stuff.
But the reason I called is, I need you to talk to this doctor named Gilbert Buford, who, as it turns out, likes to hang out at a gumbo stand called Granny Pumpkin's Cajun Cookin', which should be right across from our hotel.
You just want me to talk to him? That's it? Nothing nefarious? No.
Nothing
black ops
nefarious.
stuff?
He was Bruno Bolet's doctor, and apparently his best friend, too. I just need for you to see if he thinks there was anything weird about the way Bruno died.
What do you mean by weird?
I mean, I kind of think maybe Bruno was murdered.
Murdered? By whom?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Everyone's a suspect at this point.
Including this Gilbert Buford guy?
Well,
Great, I'm gonna be chatting up Jack the Ripper.
oh, I'm sure the guy's fine, but be subtle, just in case.
Well, I can see the gumbo stand from our balcony. If he's the guy that's sitting down there, I guess he looks harmless. Okay, I'll go talk to him.
Thanks, Beth. Let me know what happens.
Cheerio.
Cheerio. All right, let's go talk to him.
Why, hello, young lady. How kind of you to grace an old man with your lovely presence.
Are you Dr. Gilbert Buford?
I'm delighted to report that I am indeed.
Do you mind if I join you?
Of course not. A little lively discourse would brighten this gloomy evening considerably. This here is my favorite spot in the whole city. Delicious gumbo, pleasing view, particularly now, I might add.
My name's Bess Marvin. I'd like to ask you some questions about Bruno Bolet, if that's okay?
I'd prefer subject matter of a happier nature, but I do not want to seem inhospitable, so what is it you want?
I think I'd be a little creeped out if an older man was trying to flirt with
Is
me.
it true that Dr. Bolet was your best friend?
Well, now, I was certainly his best friend, but I cannot honestly say that he was mine. Fact is, while socializing with my fellow man, particularly with pretty young women such as yourself, has always been a source of pleasure for me, Bruno was just the opposite. Unfortunately, the older he got, the more numerous his idiosyncrasies became, and the less concerned about their negative effect upon others he became.
His idiosyncrasies didn't bother you?
Now, as a doctor of medicine, I am not only accustomed to dealing with the abnormal, but I find that I'm actually drawn to it. I, for one, thoroughly enjoyed Bruno's outlandish personality. Although, at the same time, I fear it may have played a role in his demise. You see, he died of a myocardial infarction, most likely caused by age-related atherosclerosis. Dying of a heart attack is all too common for people who are socially isolated, and Bruno Bolet had most certainly become that.
Did they do an autopsy on Dr. Bolet?
No. Given Bruno's advanced age and the absence of any indication of foul play, an autopsy was deemed unnecessary, and the body was cremated according to Bruno's wishes.
I hear that you're a member of the Jolly Rogers crew. Is that true?
Perhaps I am, perhaps I am not. I'm sure someone as charming and attractive as yourself has her share of secrets too. Am I right?
Be that as it may, just what is a crew?
Crews are organizations whose primary purpose is to put on parades during Mardi Gras. They also put on fabulous parties. Very private parties, members only. Some consider crews to be private clubs. Secret societies is a term others have used. However, back in the 1990s, the city decided not to issue the Jolly Rogers any more parade permits, unless they opened their crew to pretty much anyone who wanted to join. So, refusing to be blackmailed, they chose instead to simply not put on parades anymore. As far as the city is concerned, the Jolly Rogers no longer exists.
Was Bruno Bolet a Jolly Roger too?
Perhaps. Perhaps not.
Did Dr. Bolet ever say anything to you about owning a crystal skull?
Why, yes. Yes, he did. In fact, he showed it to me once. Said it had magical powers. Said owning it was going to allow him to live forever. I thought it was utter nonsense and told him so. Well, he didn't appreciate that at all. Refused to talk to me for a full 2 weeks.
What'd the skull look like?
It was quite beautiful, actually. Life-size, perfect in form and clarity, like a diamond almost. Tell me, Miss Bess, what do you know about that crystal skull?
This friend of mine, who is also a friend of Henry Bolet, you know, Dr. Bolet's great-nephew. Anyway, while she was visiting Henry, she saw this book in Bruno's library about the legendary crystal skulls and was kind of intrigued and thought that since Henry said that you were pretty much Bruno's only friend, maybe Bruno had said something to you about it, and as it turns out, he had. That's all I know.
I see. Well, much as I'd like to believe that skull holds the key to immortality, I'm afraid Bruno's passing proves it's worthless. Although it would make an attractive paperweight, as I recall. Tell your friend not to give it another thought.
Dr. Bolet's housekeeper says you just happened to walk in just as he was having his heart attack. Is that true?
Indeed it is. I hadn't seen him for a while, so I picked that day to pay him a visit. I walked up to the front door, found it unlocked as usual, opened it, and there he was, lying on the floor in obvious distress. The next thing I know, his housekeeper came running in and started shrieking and carrying on, until finally I sent her out of the room so she could summon an ambulance, and I could once again hear myself think. Well, let's see. Then I knelt down and saw that he wasn't breathing. So I pulled him away from the doorway so I'd have more room to work on him and began chest compressions. I continued until the medics arrived, but nothing they did made a difference either.
Why would he have a heart attack in the foyer?
That's always been a bit of a puzzlement to me, too.
Can you remember anything that might indicate what he was doing by the front door? I mean, had he just come in from a walk? Was he wearing a hat? Was he holding anything? Had he dropped something? An umbrella? Sunglasses?
Wait a minute. Why, yes, he was holding something. A piece of paper. And on the floor next to him was an envelope. He must have collapsed while reading a letter.
Do you remember anything else?
Believe me, young lady, it's quite miraculous that I remember this much. Now, I know the letter was no longer in Bruno's hand when the paramedics arrived, so perhaps he released the letter when I moved him. And yet, I do not recall seeing it on the floor when they wheeled him out the door. Iggy.
What's Icky?
Iggy. Iggy is an iguana Bruno befriended, then turned loose in his home. It soon developed the annoying habit of stealing paper and stockpiling it in the vent system.
Are you saying an iguana made off with the letter Bruno had been reading?
It would not have been the first time a missing document ended up in Iggy's possession. Renee would periodically call me saying the lizard had absconded with one of Bruno's prescriptions and would I please write her up a replacement. In any case, Bruno once told me he was training Iggy, said he taught Iggy to retrieve the things it had stolen.
Do you think it's possible that Renee caused Dr. Bolet's death by, say, hoarding the pills from those missing prescriptions and giving them to him all at once?
No. Had he died of an overdose of the medications I had prescribed, the manner of his death would have been quite different. But he died of a heart attack. Of that, I am certain. However, I know for a fact that Renee is deeply involved in the practice of hoodoo. And as Bruno's housekeeper, she had ample opportunity to use it against my poor old friend.
You mean hoodoo really works?
Young lady, never, ever underestimate the power of suggestion. If a person believes in something, even on a subconscious level, fantasy can easily...
Well, not surprised at that, because if you exercise that a lot, then it will come true because you believe in it too much.
Day out, even if he said he didn't believe a word of it, who knows how much his subconscious was absorbing? He was very old and vulnerable. So could Renee have caused Bruno to have that fatal heart attack? There's not a doubt in my mind she could indeed.
Guess I'll be running along.
Feel free to drop by anytime.
All right, now he's gone, so I've talked to him about everything. Now I'll call Nancy back.
Hello?
Bess here. Oops. Looks like Dr. Buford decided he's had enough gumbo.
He's not at Granny Pumpkin's anymore?
Nope. But here's what else I've learned since I talked to Rack.
And that's all she wrote.
Excellent. Thanks for the report.
Stay in touch. See ya.
Alright, I'm gonna go up to Bruno's study. Now that I've learned from Gilbert that Iggy has a habit of piling paper he steals in the vent system, maybe I can finally lure him out with the loquat, because I've done everything else. Got his pirate hat, looked at his wardrobe, seen the photo of him, so let's see if I can get him out at last.
Iggy! Oh, Iggy!
Here he comes. I heard him walking, now I hear him eating the loquat. Okay, so now that he's here, I'm going to dress him up with a certain character or occupation, because when I do, then he'll bring something to me related to whatever costume he's wearing. So first I'm going to dress him up as a pirate, and I'll have to dress him up a couple more times. That means I'll have to go shoot the wasps for more loquats. And you have to make sure that he's dressed in the correct outfit, because if he goes into the vent and has one or more incorrect items, he won't bring anything. So I think that's everything for his pirate costume. Now I'll step back, and he should bring something to me. There he goes. Alright. The name that opens every Jolly Roger meeting opens me. I'm going to have to call Bess to infiltrate the latest meeting today. But I'll do that after I get the other items from Avi. So I'm going to have to get another loquat and then one more. You have to also dress him up as a mailman and an optometrist or an eye doctor. You don't need to dress him up as a clown. I don't think that'll bring anything. Anyway. Okay, here we go, shooting the wasps. There we go. Whew. I whipped him again. Let's see if I can get the award at the end. I really want to. I think the faster you knock him dead, if I really am, then you better your chances of getting the award. Okay.
Iggy! Oh, Iggy!
You hear him coming, and he's eating it now. Now we'll dress him up as an optometrist, because then he'll bring me another eye. Let's see. I think that's all of it. Gotta make sure I do it right, because I do not want to get it wrong and have to play for the wasps again unnecessarily. So let's step back and see if he'll bring me an eye. It's an eye for an eye, Iggy. Okay. Alright, that's 24. I have one more to go, and it's right in here in this little chest. That's why I gotta call Bess so I can open it. But first, I'm going to get one more loquat so I can dress him up as a mailman. So, let's hope I can whip the wasps for the last time. Phew, that was close. All right. If you do it, it's not that hard if you can do it quickly 3 times, but if you try to do it a 4th time, then it could be more difficult. And some points, if the longer you take, the harder it is to shoot them down, and sometimes the wasps will turn red because they're getting angry, and so you got to kill them first. But luckily none did, because I had to move as fast as I could. Alright, one more loquat.
Come and get it, Iggy!
Alright, now let's dress him up as a mailman. Is that the letter that Bruno was reading when he suddenly had his heart attack? What, layman's terms, the skull's a fake. Did he get shocked into having a heart attack from reading this letter? Well, it says that Renee was aware of it, and she said earlier she knew nothing about it, so I'm gonna go talk to her. Then I'll call Bess. But there's also a phone number, so I'm gonna call the authenticator as well.
Yes?
Did you know that Bruno was a member of a group called the Jolly Rogers?
No. Should I care?
Maybe not, but I care. They apparently ran around wearing skeleton man costumes.
Don't know anything about it, sorry.
I'll stop bugging you now.
Sounds good.
Hello again.
I think I found the letter that Dr. Bollet was reading when he had his fatal heart attack. Iggy the iguana had taken it. Apparently, Dr. Bollet did have a crystal skull and believed possessing it would make him immortal. So he had it tested, and the lab sent him its findings in this letter. Read the second paragraph.
My analysis showed that the skull, while made of remarkably pure crystal, was carved using modern instruments. In layman's terms, the skull is a fake.
My guess is Dr. Bollet believed in the skull so completely that when he read it was a fake, he was totally devastated, and his heart just stopped. But what I don't quite understand is, why did you tell me you didn't know about the crystal skull when this letter indicates you did?
All right. Dr. Bollet told me about the skull. As you said, he believed with all his might owning that skull was the reason he was still going strong at 95. I lied to you because, well, for one thing, Dr. Bollet swore me to secrecy. And for another, he kept the skull hidden. And up until just this minute, I wanted to be the one who found it.
Do you have any idea where the skull's hidden?
None whatsoever. Oh my, this makes me feel just terrible. You see, getting the skull tested was my idea. When Dr. Bollet told me about it, I was skeptical and that troubled him. So I helped him find a private laboratory where we could take it so any and all doubts would be dispelled once and for all. I certainly did not anticipate that the truth would result in his keeling over and dying like that. Well, now that I too know that the skull's a fake, I can stop fretting over its whereabouts. In fact, I should probably thank you and Iggy for setting me straight.
I'll see you later.
Thanks for coming by.
Okay, now I'll call Bess. Well, no, first I'll call the authenticator.
Yeah?
Is this Milo Research and Technology?
This is Chaz, Milo. Service forwarded your call to my cell. What do you want?
Are you all right?
I'm at the gym. On the treadmill. It's called multitasking.
Well, about the letter you sent to Dr. Bollet, you know, where you told him the skull was a fake, I was just wondering...
I never told him that.
Never told him what?
I told him that skull was authentic.
No, you said in the letter the skull was carved using modern instruments.
I said all the tests I ran proved the skull had been hand-carved and hand-polished. Probably took decades to make.
But the letter Dr. Bollet got said just the opposite.
Then the letter he got must not have been the letter that I wrote.
You're saying the skull's real?
Are you saying the crystal skull is real?
Hey, I'm not saying it's magic or anything. I'm just saying it wasn't made using 19th century, 20th century, or 21st century technology.
Did you carbon date it to see how old it was?
The thing was pure quartz. No carbon in quartz. No carbon, no carbon dating. Hey, look, I'm gonna hang up now. If I try to talk anymore, I'm gonna pass out.
Just one more question. Did you send that letter saying the skull was authentic to anyone else?
No, just Dr. Bollet. I heard he died recently. Good thing I billed him up front.
Yeah, well, thanks for your help.
No problem.
Well, if he's insisting that the skull's real, who could have sent this phony letter? Alright, time to call Bess.
Hello?
Hi, Bess. Listen, you busy?
Why?
I need you to do something for me.
Here we go.
What?
I need you to infiltrate the meeting of the Jolly Rogers crew that's about to be held at Rampart and Dumaine, which has got to be right near Zeke's. You're going to have to look around for it. Now, to get into the meeting, you'll need to put on that skeleton man costume you saw in the back room. And once you're in the meeting, you'll need to listen for the name that opens the meeting so you can tell me what it is, okay?
No.
Bess, I know you don't like to do stuff like this, but this is really
The gumbo
important.
truck's gone
And
too,
it'll be the
so it
last
must be.
thing I
This
ask you
must
to
be
do, I
closed. It must be
promise.
late.
Absolutely, unequivocally, irrefutably, incontrovertibly,
No.
Which, of course, actually means yes, because if I don't do this, I'll be stuck here by myself until you give up. And since we both know you will never give up, I don't suppose it would do any good to point out that the curio shop is closed.
You'll find a way in. Oh, and if anyone at the meeting asks, the password is scuttled bones.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
That's the spirit.
Okay, so we go down the alley through the side entrance, but how do we know what the password is? Well, we have to use Bess's powder here to find fingerprint oil. Okay. It's very lit up, that means it's the most amount of oil, that's the first, to the least amount is the last. Just like in Treasure in the Royal Tower, dusting fingerprints to determine the passcode. So it should be 28905. That way I can get in safely without turning on the emergency alarm. So I gotta take the skeleton man costume and infiltrate the meeting. I guess, obviously, that was Bruno's costume. And it should be right here. Password is scuttled bones, like Nancy said.
What's the password?
Password? Right. Let's see.
Are you trying to really be a man here, Bess? You're doing it poorly.
Scuttled bones.
Better hurry, we're just about to start.
Alright, so the name that opens the meeting, they're going to be chanting it. Jean Lafitte. So I have to put in that name to open up the chest. Is that our skeleton man? He's wearing a red ascot, the leader.
Welcome, my fellow Jolly Rogers.
It's Dr. Buford.
Pressing matters to discuss this
Yep.
evening, so let us
That
begin.
means he's the one who attacked
As you
Nancy?
may or may not have heard,
Oh my.
certain city officials are attempting to deny us the right not only to gather in public places during the Mardi Gras season, but they have also seen fit to...
Uh-oh.
Shoot, I
Forgot to turn off the cell phone.
It seems we have an uninvited guest.
Yay.
Get him!
Ooh. Holy smokes.
Let go. You're making a big mistake. Let go of me. Look, I'm not here to make trouble. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Can we just talk about this? Where are you taking me? If you just let me explain.
Why, it seems our trespasser is of the female
Then I guess
variety.
they're all men.
Let's have a look.
That's
'Cause he
right.
recognizes
You
Bess.
know me and I know you, Dr. Buford. And I also know that you were the one who attacked my friend over at the Boley Mansion today. And if you don't tell me why right now, I promise you, you are going to be in one big world of hurt.
The young lady's clearly upset about something. Clarence, take over the meeting while I try to find out why she's making all these crazy accusations.
They're not crazy and you know it.
I will tell you everything, Miss Marvin, in private.
And he did. He told me everything, Nancy. I bluffed him into confessing. You would have been so proud of me. Oh, and before I forget, The name they chanted at the start of the meeting was Jean Lafitte.
Jean Lafitte. Great. Now, what did Dr. Buford tell you?
Okay. First off, he said that with his dying breath, Bruno Bolet directed him to steal the painting of Henry's parents and lock it up in Henry's parents' crypt. Bruno seemed to think that way Henry would wind up with the crystal skull instead of somebody else.
So Dr. Buford dressed up in his skeleton man costume, stole the canvas, and hid it in the crypt like Bruno asked.
That must have been when Renee saw Mr. Death.
But then, Dr. Buford had second thoughts and decided to heck with Henry. He wanted that crystal skull for himself. So this afternoon, he dressed up in his skeleton man costume again and snuck into Henry's house so he could get the key from that mini cemetery and retrieve the painting he'd left in that crypt, knowing the painting would somehow lead him to the skull.
Only I walked in on him and ruined everything.
Right. And now that we're onto him, he says he no longer wants the skull. He's embarrassed that he allowed a superstitious side to get the best of him and says whoever finds the skull is welcome to it. At least that's what Dr. Buford said. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh what?
I told him you were looking for the skull.
That's all right.
Actually, I told him you were on the verge of finding it.
Why would you tell him that?
I don't know. I got carried away. So if he lied to me and he really does still want the skull, then he might come after you. He left right after we talked, and I don't think he went back into that meeting. What if he's on his way over there?
Don't worry, I'll be fine. Why don't you just...
Whoa.
Whoa, that bolt of lightning was huge. Anyway, why don't you just go relax, and I'll be back at the hotel before you know it, okay? Bess?
Uh-oh.
Hello?
I guess that bolt
Bess,
of
you
lightning
there?
cut the service.
Nope, she sure isn't.
Alright, now that we know what that password is for the chest, let's punch it in. So there are 2 letters on each button, but you just have to push them in the order that they're spelled and it'll open up. And so we got the last glass eye. So that brings it to all 25 eyes. Now I can put them in here. Alright, but notice nothing happens. That's because each one of these eyes in each row needs to be turned in a certain direction. Now, according to the Tired Eyes book, the directions all go from north, south, east, west, left, right, up, down, and some are easier to figure out than others because the words are spoken. Others are hidden between several words. So, like, first one, south, is spelled out among anxious, out, hunting here, and so, as I said before, these numbers indicate the eyes. So this all maybe then this will lead me to the skull. That must have been what Bruno meant by the eyes have it. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of them and spell out what they say, what the directions are. I'm just going to turn them in the directions they need to be. So it's south, west, south, east, left, down, down, up, down, east, east, left, east, down, down, and these two are also down, left, north, west, right, left, down, right, left. Here we go. Oh, we used the lightning rod and that skeleton hand to put these together. And guess where? In the spot in Bruno's crypt. So, we're at the end, everyone. With this, should lead, the eyes have it, should lead me right to the crystal skull. So let's go outside and do this. Then it'll trigger the ending and who the baddie is. Okay. Listen to that music building up, because we're getting close. There it is. So when I pick it up... Uh-oh. The lid's closing. Renee?
Nancy? That you in there? Goodness sakes, gal, what on earth have you gone and done?
The lid's closing and I don't know how to stop it.
Here, I'll pull you up. Toss what you're holding up here, then give me your hands. Come on, you best hurry.
Here it comes.
Uh-oh. Oh, look, and she smiles.
Renee, a little help, please?
The crystal skull. After all that scheming, how do I finally get it? Why, this nice little Yankee gal just hands it to me.
Renee, help me. Hurry, please.
Thank you, Nancy. Bye now.
Uh-oh.
No, you've got to help me. Renee! Renee!
Okay, there is a way to get out of here. This puzzle, it's a memory puzzle, and it's random, can change all the time, but luckily the lightning comes in sometimes so I can then see where they are. Just it doesn't always come up, or doesn't last long like you want it to. It dings when you get it correct. I guess there's a chance of it staying when you, the more you get correct. Fire. Yeah, I think when you're almost finished, then it goes faster. Oh, great. But it's not out of the woods yet. I have to stop Renee. Guess where she's going? Right to her boat. There's her footprints. So I gotta go to the boat engine.
Renee, hold it right there. That skull isn't yours. To say nothing of the fact that you just tried to bury me alive.
The skull is mine. It wants to be mine. Yes, I did my share of scheming to get it. I got Dr. Bolay to go to the authenticators, then switched the letter they wrote saying it was real with one I wrote saying
So
it was
she wrote
fake.
that phony letter
Dr. Bolay would just hand it
about
over
it
to
being
me.
fake.
Yes, my plan failed, and yet here we are. I have the skull. Why? Because it knows that I will fulfill its destiny.
Bruno Bolay wanted Henry to have it. That's why he had Gilbert Buford steal that painting and hide it in Henry's parents' crypt. Because he hoped that way Henry would eventually find it.
Henry's a fool. If he ever got his hands on this, he would just turn around and give it to that trashy girlfriend of his. Dr. Bolay, he just wanted it because he was
Bernie
terrified
appears.
of dying.
Well,
Here
there's
was
something we can
Buford,
do
too.
now.
And that
See the
Lamont
icon
fella,
here? Let's tap
he
the
just wants
log.
to sell it to the highest
See what
bidder.
happens.
For me, my motives are pure. I am going to protect it so it can rendezvous with all
If you
those
don't tap
other
the log
skulls.
while Bernie's there, then
I'll
she'll
put
get
it
away.
right there when they start
Watch what happens
conversing,
now that I've
and
touched
all
it.
the mysteries of the universe are forever solved.
Snaps at her.
Ah!
And she drops it and it goes right into his mouth.
No, 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 come back!
Renee burst into tears and sobbed as Bernie swam away with a crystal skull. It made me feel sorry for her for about 2 seconds. After all, while she may not have meant to cause Bruno's death, she certainly meant to cause mine when she left me sealed up in that crypt. It felt good to turn her over to the police.
What's she arrested
Later
for,
that
though?
night,
Attempted
Dr.
murder
Buford came over and
or
apologized for knocking me out with that
forging the
smoke
letter?
bomb, and for allowing himself to think, even for a moment, that Bruno's crystal skull was anything more than a pretty piece of quartz. To make up for his shameful behavior, he insisted on taking Bess and me on a grand tour of New Orleans. Seeing the city through the eyes of someone who loves it as much as Dr. Buford was truly special. He invited Henry too, but Henry declined. He was still trying to process the fact that his great-uncle wanted him to have the skull. Henry always thought that to Bruno he was nothing more than an annoying family obligation, someone Bruno couldn't care less about. Yet Bruno's request of Dr. Buford, made with his dying breath, proved that he did care about Henry. Apparently, and unfortunately for Henry, Bruno was the type of man who just couldn't bring himself to say such things out loud. As for Lamont, when he heard what happened, he closed his shop, bought enough marshmallows to fill a swamp boat, and has been scouring the bayous ever since, kicking every log he comes to in hopes of finding Bernie and the crystal skull inside him. But Bernie has yet to turn up. Maybe the skull didn't agree with him. Maybe swallowing it caused him to stop associating the sound of a kicked log with yummy sweet things. In any case, the Whisperer has disappeared, lost to the world once again, which is totally fine by me.
It ain't fine with me. That deserves to be in a museum or something, not lost in the stomach of a gator forever, which is ultimately going to kill Bernie, because he's not going to be able to digest it or pass it. Okay, so now here we are at the end, and this is one of the awards, Trivia Tamer. If you answer the question correctly, you get an award for that. What was Bernie's favorite food? Marshmallows. So now on to the awards, the meta awards as they're called. Let's see what I got. All right, 7 of them. Looks like I really whipped those wasps to get the award, and for trying all that spicy food, those 6 Cocoa Cream bars, discovering the truth about the letter, solving that marble puzzle fest, going through all those powders, answering the question right. And I've gotten all of these awards playing before, but except this one. No matter what I do, I just can't get the Chit Chat Champ Award. But, well, I got 7, so when the end credits play, my junior detective badge will show 7 green stars. So now going to the credits, But first we'll play the teaser trailer for the next game, The Phantom of Venice.
Talk about a detective's dream come true. The Italian police called me personally and requested that I travel to Italy and help them stake out a suspected thief in Venice. Unfortunately, what started out as a simple assignment in a city filled with canals, gondolas, and romance quickly morphed into a full-fledged undercover operation. And I soon found myself trapped in a maze of lies, disguises, and danger. Help me find my way out by joining me in my next adventure, Phantom of Venice.
Now on to the end credits. As I said, this and White Wolf of Icicle Creek, they don't play the main Nancy Drew theme over the title card, but they do play it during the end credits, probably to accommodate for that. Alright, so that was my full walkthrough of Legend of the Crystal Skull. I think when I first played this, I wasn't too surprised that Renee was the culprit, because she had said she already wanted to find the skull after I showed her the letter, so that didn't set her up for the best moment for her to be a surprise. Usually culprits are more in the dark and can be expected to be surprised when you find out who it is, but she said she wanted it. Most culprits will deny wanting an item just to throw Nancy and others off their track. But as I said, what was she then arrested for? Was forgery then, or trying to kill Nancy, indirectly killing Bruno? I'm not really too sure. But anyway, as you can see here, my detective badge, I got 7 green stars for the 7 awards I got. And so I'm going to just end here my commentary on the walkthrough of Legend of the Crystal Skull. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this just as much as I enjoyed playing it, and I'll see you in the next walkthrough video. Bye for now.